half boy, half god, all Apollo. You're listening to Ranking Rick Riordan, a podcast about Percy Jackson and the whole wide rest of the Riordanverse. I'm Dan.
I'm Olga.
And I'm Clara, and today we are discussing The Trials of Apollo, Book 4, The Tyrant's Tomb.
And we're picking up part 2 at the beginning of the recap. Let's go. Read it again.
All right. Meg and Apollo are driving toward Camp Jupiter with Jason in a coffin in the back because it's a hearse and it's sad. And they are attacked by a Uranimos, who's a ghoul that eats dead people and alive people. They are saved by Lavinia, daughter of Terpsichore.
Just done there.
I was going to.
So I want to say we didn't even talk about the Uranimos. They're really cool.
Yeah. Really creepy.
Yeah. I think he did a good job of like not just feeling like, oh, I'm doing zombies. Like they had their own thing going on.
It's shocking that a zombie threat story was as interesting as it was given zombies are played out.
Yeah.
The group are chased by more Uranimoi, and Apollo gets a bad zombie scratch. Hazel saves them by collapsing a tunnel on the baddies. Also, Dawn the Fawn is there.
Yep.
Apollo...
I like Dawn the Fawn.
I like him more
Take it
here.
back.
I appreciate the fact that he had things to do. It wasn't just like purely for like there's a reason he was here because it mattered later, and that was.
I might have been predisposed to be nice to him because in the little spin-off book about Camp Jupiter, there's like an interesting fawn character there that made me go, okay, the fawns aren't terrible.
We need some comedy. Apollo's dying.
Yeah.
Apollo sings a song to the decimated campers of Jason's death, and they plan his funeral. Over the weekend, they will complete his plans for Temple Hill. Okay, major criticism here. How is it that Jason's like...
life's work?
Yeah, what he was going to be like presumably working on for years to come and wanted to consult with Annabeth, the architect genius, just gets finished in a weekend in the background.
It was supposed to be like this great thing to honor him, but instead it made it feel cheap to me. Yeah. Like it needed to be somebody specifically takes up this thing for him. Because it really, the way they set it up in Blood of Olympus, it really seemed like he's going to be going back and forth. He's going to be like doing research, figuring out who even all the gods are. Like,
they knew no one could ever be Jason. And they were like, we'll just do something so that we honor our like commitments, but... yeah. We know no one will ever be like Jason ever again.
Aside from Apollo, I don't think Jason is handled well in this book. The funeral really bothers me. Like the fact that none of the 7 are there, besides, I guess, Frank and Hazel, never mind. But the rest of the 7 aren't there.
Is Piper not here?
Yeah. I maintain that criticism from the previous book, from Burning Maze, where we said, why don't Leo and Piper go as well? That is, to me, more of a criticism from Burning Maze.
Yeah.
If I just accept that none of the other 7 are here.
But the problem is, that was part 1 of my issue. Right. Part 2 of my issue is that we don't see Raina's reaction, really. Like, she's, like, sad. But, like, she was very connected to him.
Yep.
And that's just, like, whatever.
Jason never getting what he deserves.
No.
Exactly.
No, and I do agree. And this is a very valid, like, ding against this book. Once again, brushing kind of Jason aside.
That said, I love the song. It's all good.
Yes,
but
that's fantastic.
That was heartbreaking. Like, that scene of him recounting and everyone, like, not just feeling his loss, but feeling all of their losses, and the fact because they've already had that battle and lost so many of the legionnaires.
And again, this is sort of the theme of what's going into the next book. It's Apollo really using his godly self and incorporating what he's learned as a human now. And maybe that's why he starts to jive.
But the fact that we have to say maybe.
Yeah.
That's the always with.
Well, and not
I feel like it's also with always whenever they're in Rome. I feel like we do this always whenever they're in Rome. I'm like, maybe it's this. And we're
actually,
like,
that reminds me. I think they really made me like Rome in this book.
Yeah.
I think that's a success.
Hooray.
Yeah. I don't remember when I decided I didn't like Rome.
It was like the first paragraph.
No. Didn't dislike Rome. Sorry. I knew it was very annoying at first when we were inundated with like all the things Romans don't like. But once we get to know the individual Romans and see that, wait, they do like things, and here's them being not just like dour army people, then I think there's room for
And hey, I mean, they made certain things that they hate charming in this one with like having them try to do archery.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
yeah.
All right. So Apollo meets up with Frank, Tyson, and Ella. Ella has been tattooing Tyson's body with bits of prophecy, and they learn they must find the ancient King Tarquin's tomb. This was a fun scene.
I don't know how I feel about
Me either.
It was surprising. Weird. I'm going to say that. Surprised is how I feel.
It felt for me like one of these humor things where I'm fine with it. It doesn't do anything for me, but I was like, all right, sure.
Yeah.
Quirky.
I don't have a criticism. I was just taken aback.
Yeah.
It's just like the visuals of this are just hilarious.
I guess.
But why is it... but the thing that's quirky, I'm like, but why is it here? Why is this the direction that we've gone in?
At least they kind of give an explanation.
Yeah.
Where, like, we have the ridiculousness of this person does crossword puzzles.
Yeah. I can't help but be like, does this mean that when Tyson dies, they're going to, like, skin him?
Oh my God, don't say that.
I was thinking that the entire book.
Oh no. That's not where my mind went. I was much more taken aback by like how much of his body is being seen by people.
I've also
especially his girlfriend.
I was the entire book. These were those two ideas were just back and forth in my mind.
Oh,
Tyson in a Speedo equals prophecy book.
Okay.
But are Cyclops immortal? They are.
I really don't know. I mean, they're not immortal in that they can get killed by Apollo.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Anyway, sorry. Bad.
Skinning aside.
Yeah, sorry. I thank you for validating me there, Clara, like wondering about what happens afterward. So Apollo presides over Jason's funeral and talks to Lupa, the wolf goddess. She warns him that more losses are coming, but hints that he may be able to call on divine help in the coming battle.
I'm glad we got more Lupa. I've always felt like she was underutilized.
I really like their discussion and the fact that she feels Jason's loss as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like she's not just some fierce wolf. She has emotion too.
Mm-hmm.
Apollo dreams of the Oracle of Cuma. I've already forgotten how it's pronounced in the audiobook. The Oracle, meeting with King Tarquin in the old Roman Senate house. She pressures him to buy the 6 remaining volumes of the Sibylline books. I love this flashback. It was so cool.
I love all the like history and myth stuff in this book.
The predating, like very early Rome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bringing Tarquin in was awesome.
Yeah.
Really good choice.
Yeah. At the Senate meeting, Apollo explains the threat of Commodus and Caligula arriving on the blood moon in Tarquin's army of the undead. Ella recites a prophecy, and Lavinia explains that Tarquin's tomb is under a merry-go-round in Tilden Park. The Senate chooses to send Apollo, Meg, Hazel, and Lavinia on a mini-quest to spy on Tarquin.
The merry-go-round thing just makes me think about, like, I really do enjoy how he utilizes the Bay Area in this book. I think it's really good.
Yes. Apollo dreams of the day he cursed the Sibyl with semi-immortality. In a fit of rage after she rejected his love, he made it so that she could never die, even if her body crumbled to dust. Dan, look at that. Rejected love. And his and this being a theme.
Yeah, and think about how he treats this compared to how he treats Reyna.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, yes, I agree. He's already had a lot of this growth. But still.
Well, my reaction, I was going to immediately say, is when we started this series, I did not expect Rick to go this hard with how awful Apollo was.
I did. That's why I texted you and I was like, is this entire series going to be apologizing for Apollo's sexual misconduct? And you were like, no. And apparently, yes. Yeah. And I thought that would be such a misstep. And Rick has, in my opinion, handled it gorgeously.
It's a bold choice to have such a hateable character be apologetic and have more and more things. Like, the depths of his awfulness go so deep, and yet we're still on his side because he's
and it doesn't growing. It feels earned. Like, like there are a lot of characters that I take issue with that I'm like, oh, they did something super awful, and now I'm supposed to like them anyway because they feel sad. But like, I'm thinking of Loki specifically, but but there's a lot of characters like him that bothers me, and I like have to just turn my brain off a little bit and be like, okay, I like him. This, I don't feel like I'm turning my brain off.
No, he's not letting us.
And he's getting called out by everyone, and I think that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
No one is not calling him out.
Yeah.
And no one is saying it's okay, and no one is saying anything other than like, all you can do is do good things now. That's all you can do.
Yeah. And I think part of it that makes it a little bit easier to swallow is that he was a god before, now he isn't. Mm-hmm. And it's not to say that what he did is okay because he was a god, but like who he is like fundamentally different than who he was then.
Yeah. I mean, it's the fact that at the end of the day, Rick chose to write books about Greco-Roman mythology where the deities of these cultures do awful, depraved things. Yep. None of them are innocent. All of them have like blood on their hands in these myths. And Apollo is the one he chose to like really get into some of the most awful things he did, but also Artemis was a part of this as well So like the fact is that like he's reminding us that it's not just Apollo doing these awful things. They're all culpable, but he's finally feeling guilty about it because he's going into humanity and seeing the value of life.
Well, and something I thought was extra interesting about this one with the Sibyl is it's not just, he cursed her and that's awful. It's before he cursed her, he just decides to give her immortality.
Yeah.
He just decides they're going to get mad. Like, all this, like, very toxic stuff that, like, isn't normally necessarily the focus, but was very clearly toxic in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was, quote, a fan of his. She wanted to work with him for him as his Sibyl, and that was not enough for him.
Yeah.
Gross. Mm-hmm. Real gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apollo, think about what you did more.
You have a whole other book to do it.
Yeah.
We love reading your thoughts about it.
The questers find the tomb and spy on Tarquin. Meg unexpectedly charges him, forcing the others to back her up. Tarquin unleashes the poison in Apollo's system. This causes him great agony. Hazel collapses a wall behind Tarquin and the group escapes. Well, Tarquin knew that they were there.
Yeah.
So she doesn't...
Like, they were going to escape and instead she jumped over the ledge.
Yeah. They would probably have escaped more easily, but at least his sidekick got crushed.
Yeah.
There's a small win. So after some healing to slow Apollo's zombieism, he meets up with Frank and Raina. They explain that according to Ella, the only way to win the oncoming battle will be to summon a god by sacrificing, quote, the soundless god. Apollo has a theory that the soundless god has been forced to black out communications by triumvirate holdings. Raina thinks the god is at Sutro Tower based on what they heard from Tarquin.
All right. Two things I was thinking about rereading this book that I was thinking of Clara specifically. I was like, A, they brought back a Ptolemaic god. How awesome is that?
Yoo-hoo!
Sorry, I banged this. Here's what I will respond to. May I respond to this first? It's in all caps from my notes. How dare you not bring the Canes in, you absolute monster, Rick. How could you do this to me? But yes, thank you for bringing in Ptolemaic gods, and I will just continue to cry by myself into my pillow.
And then the second thing I was thinking about was how is Clara going to react to him having a crush on Raina?
Yeah.
Which do you want to just wait till we get there?
Let's yeah.
Well, Egypt's relevant again, and it's not the way that we wanted, but
still good.
We'll take it.
And cool.
Yeah.
I actually really liked it.
Yeah. Meg apologizes for attacking Tarquin and admits that she hoped that by killing him, she could cure Apollo. They profess their sibling-style love for each other. Meg goes to prepare the unicorns for battle, and Apollo attempts to teach the Romans archery. To his delight, his archery prowess has returned.
Huzzah!
Yay.
The Meg scene is fantastic.
Yes.
So good.
Really, really, really good.
Yeah. I still think that she has like more and therefore better stuff in Burning Maze, but I think this is still like a great continuation.
Honestly, her having a friend and having interests in things outside of Apollo really meant a lot to me.
Yeah,
that's
me
fair.
too.
Yeah,
I didn't have a single problem with her this book.
Yeah, and the only time I might have was when she jumped into the battle and they explained it in a totally understandable way.
Like again, we at least we understand Meg. Like whereas, we were getting to know her in Hidden Oracle, at least now we're like, she is an immature 12. Like she's a young 12. The way that Hazel is like
a 40-year-old 12.
Yeah.
I kind of want to go back and read Hidden Oracle again because of this. Because I wonder whether Meg would irritate me in the same way. Yeah. I feel like she wouldn't.
I reread Hidden Oracle having gotten to most of Burning Maze, and she definitely still bothered me.
It's just her growing as well.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But even so, like, even while her behaviors in and of themselves don't change, it's like the way she's like motivated emotionally.
Well, I mean, she is blowing raspberries less. She's eating ridiculously less.
Yeah.
She actually cares about Apollo as opposed to just antagonizing him. Like,
well, she's not the like comedic character anymore. Like we have other people providing the comedy.
They did. I mean, she was as far as like the unicorns go,
but that's not her like main point is being.
And it even worked out. And there was like even a reasonable like they're really good at killing undead things. And I was like, sounds like something that would work in D&D. Like, sure.
And her being like a 12-year-old who's into unicorns, like, sure, that might be a little bit old for being into unicorns, but like...
Not if they're real.
Not if they're real. A, not if they're real. And B, not if you've been like repressed by an awful person and emotionally abused. So Dawn and Lavinia take Apollo to People's Park to tell a group of fawns, dryads, and peaches about what happened in Southern California. I appreciate that also, like Meg misses Peaches, and that was, and then he shows up and it's nice. Yeah. Anyway, the nature spirits consider running away. Lavinia expresses her desire to leave before the battle, shocking Apollo.
And you were talking to me while we were still reading, and you were quite perturbed at the time.
I remember just being like confused by this.
Well,
I mean, like,
what you specifically said was, "Are they real? Is he really going to make the Jewish person run away from
like
war?
A coward?" Yeah. I was like, I don't think so, but also, even like suggesting that felt icky to me.
Yeah.
He was so barely Jewish that I didn't think about it.
She kept on touching her Star of David necklace to me, so if he had just mentioned that she was Jewish, I would have been there was something about that reminder.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was a weird, like, it's like accidentally forcing the association. And I was like, let's not do this.
But again, I do think it was totally an accident.
I understand, but it's just one of those things where I was like, as someone who knows about this like trope, I don't like it being accidentally here.
While we're on the subject of Lavinia and things that sort of like, about me with her was like one of the first adjectives she gets is bossy. And that's another sort of like Jewish girl trope.
Interesting.
That's a real one.
Yeah. And so that's why it didn't bother me as much, I think, as a sort of, I was like, she reminds me of myself in that way. But I did sort of note it as a like, okay.
At least she's not like neurotic.
You're right.
Not?
No.
I guess not.
No, she's not neurotic.
When you first meet her, he kind of describes her in a way that makes you think she's going to be. But I guess
it's more her ADHD than like the typical stereotypes. Anyway, we're not making this another long Lavinia conversation.
We're going to do a whole podcast on her next time.
Yes, sounds good. Part 3. Apollo, Meg, and Raina travel to Sutro Tower. Along the way, Raina mentions that she has become close with Thalia and the Hunters of Artemis. Apollo admits his forbidden feelings to Raina, and she laughs at him a lot. Like, listening to her laughing at him for a long time.
Yeah.
All right. I want to know your opinions.
I didn't expect Raina to be this mean.
Thank you.
Yep.
Like, I get. Okay, so first of all, he's just talked about, like, bad stuff he does.
Yeah.
He's just, like, he's the quintessential boy who you could fantasize about doing this too.
Yeah.
But being in Apollo's head, it's actually very uncomfortable. And especially because this is a moment as he's becoming more emotionally vulnerable, it really hurts. And it doesn't, and it's not a character who I would be okay. I don't know.
He's not Apollo anymore. He's Lester.
Yeah.
That's my problem, is that as Lester, even if like, I mean, I was very uncomfortable from the get-go of him having a crush on Reyna, and I was like, where is this going?
Is this another Anubis?
But like, I was just like, at this point, even though like that's icky on like a meta level or whatever, like he is just a kid who has feelings for her and isn't an awful human being right now.
Yeah.
And so like she never apologizes. She says like, let me explain to you why I did this.
I wasn't actually laughing at you. I was laughing at the situation. It's like, nah, you were laughing at him. Like at him, not with him.
And even when she says the Venus thing about like Venus probably did this because she knew you could get over it. She's like, she knew you were so full of yourself enough to roll right off you. And I'm like, but that's not who he is right now. And
we knew while in Apollo's head that it was not something he was looking forward to saying either. Like he wasn't like, I will save the girl and tell her she can feel free to fall in love with me. Like,
it was just like, I mean...
It was just a lot.
Yeah.
It could have happened, but not. But in this way, it felt sort of cruel.
What's the, like, less intense way of saying triggering? like, for me...
Stressful.
Like, the way Rick wrote it really well, how, like, what he was thinking leading up to saying that to Reyna. That was very relatable to me. And... this reaction is like literally the nightmare.
Right. No, it's the same. It's like it's sort of a one person's fantasy of like the frat boy comes up and is like, oh, you can be my girlfriend, and you just laugh in his face. Versus the nightmare scenario of asking someone out and then just laughing at you for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Being just rejected so wholeheartedly.
Like, I want to like Reyna. This book did not make me like Reyna. Like, I'm not saying I dislike her, but I'm saying like, if it was just this book and we didn't have the previous books, I wouldn't like Reyna.
Yeah.
And that I feel like is really sad because I was looking forward to this book after Blood of Olympus to be like, oh, great, we're going to get more Reyna and they're going to like really make me love her. And
it was not a good Reyna book.
Also, it was very weird for me because I had been spoiled that he joined the Hunters. And so I was, from the very beginning of him having a crush on her, I was like, well, this definitely doesn't work out. So it was a weird thing of like, well, where are they going with this?
Yeah.
And I thought that he was supposed to be with Thalia. And I don't know.
I thought so too.
I thought like, I don't know if I'm like accidentally spoiled or not, or if I don't know what, because I thought I was spoiled that they got together, but it doesn't seem like they are.
I thought they were going to get together.
Yeah, I don't necessarily like need them together so much as that would have been cool, but because again, I'm like also fine with mostly because I like Thalia being in the Hunters. But also, I just like don't really understand the speech at the end that Reyna gives and how that equals I'm joining the Hunters.
Yeah, well, we'll get there.
Yeah,
but I will say that that's another disappointment to me because I thought that the spoiler I had was that they joined the Hunters and they're together, and that it was going to bring the Emmy thing full circle that Artemis actually accepts female romances. And I thought that would have been really interesting, that they could be in the Hunters and be together, and that Artemis actually changes her mind on something.
Yeah.
And so that
maybe she'll have a realization about love in one of the other books.
In the Trials of Artemis.
Ooh, interesting.
Rick Riordan presents Dance the Trials of Artemis.
All right, so the three begin climbing at the tower and are attacked by a conspiracy of ravens. As the ravens dive bomb them, Apollo tells Meg and Reyna about the time ravens told him that his girlfriend Coronus was cheating on him. He had Artemis kill her, but saved her child Asclepius. In a fit of rage, he punished the ravens, who were white at the time, by turning them black. Meg and Reyna are pissed at him, but Apollo sings a Dean Martin song, and the ravens retreat.
Can I say one of my favorite things that happened in this book was, I think it was Reyna was saying, like, also, like, how dare you, like, use the trope that white is good and black is bad. And I was like, Rick, you saw my thing. And it's not like it's not Rick, right? It's the mythology.
Yeah.
But you saw me thinking about it 10 miles away. And you're like, it's all right. I get it. I know. And I was like, thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
So I love Volare, the real version, the Neil Blue version, but also currently I'm listening to a podcast called You Must Remember This that is talking about Dean Martin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
And the most recent episode I heard was about how this cover helped him get success and reclaim like Italianism as an identity, and like one of the ways that like made it mainstream and not like and help
like
potentially
Elvis.
Oh God. Well, potentially like lessen racism, quote, against Italians. So it was a very weird connection where like in that it's a good thing in the podcast.
I don't know if I've ever heard the Dean Martin version. I think I've only heard the original.
It's lounge singing. Like but it's true. That's the thing where he's like, it's an atrocious song and it makes your ears bleed and birds will fly away just to get away from it. I was like, this is very funny timing.
This is the kind of comedy that I think works, and
so good,
especially back to back with that very upsetting mythology thing.
Oh yeah.
And they just keep hitting him where it hurts. I'm like, because I don't know that many Apollo stories. I'm like, how many of these are there?
He's awful. That's why, seriously, I was starting Trials of Apollo and I was like, okay, it's just gonna, like, we're just not gonna go there. And he immediately, Rick starts with it and I'm like, oh, if you start this, there's no going back.
Yeah.
He's done a lot.
Well, that's the thing. I knew Hyacinthus and I knew what's Daphne. But that was basically this story sounded somewhat familiar with Artemis being the one to shoot the arrow and stuff. But like I feel like it's an interesting like extra knife in the heart that the son that saved is Asclepius when you know how much he cares about Asclepius, and it's but you killed his mother.
Yeah. I was not expecting it to be Asclepius, and I was like, but that's like your favorite kid. And you antagonized Zeus over your favorite kid you killed his mom. What is going on with you, Apollo?
Disaster.
And it's literally like, don't kill the messenger. It's like, they didn't. They just changed their color scheme. So Oh man. Well, okay. They reach a shipping container on one of the platforms that mutes all sound. Apollo realizes the god inside is Hippocrates, the Ptolemaic god of silence. This same god vowed to vaporize Apollo. He explains how he bullied Hippocrates, who took the form of a 10-year-old boy. The girls are appalled and contemplate sacrificing the silent god to obtain godly help. They face off with Hippocrates and what remains of the Oracle of Cumae. The disembodied oracle speaks and forgives Apollo solely for leaving the world without grudges. Hippocrates agrees to do the same since he has fallen for her. The two release their essences, and the silent god fills the jar with his final breath, telling them to release it at a shrine for help. This was an incredibly touching, dark
I think this might be the best part of the book.
It is.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
Especially that followed by his like talk with Reyna afterward, where she's talking about like redemption and stuff like that.
Yeah. It was... And Apollo's just like standing there taking it and being like, I'm not worthy of this forgiveness.
Yeah. And there's something about it being mostly nonverbal that also makes it. And it's like the silence is palpable. It is heavy. It's literally heavy silence. It's so well written.
Yeah. And it's also interesting to me because after hearing about how he, murdered a pregnant woman, like him bullying, I feel like he would think, oh, not that big a deal or whatever. And especially at that time, like he totally was like, oh, it's just fun. I feel like Rick did a really good job of showing why like that is really, really bad too.
Yeah.
He just did a very good, like, not PSA bullying moment there that I thought worked.
Yeah. So the trio drives toward camp, but are driven off the road by another Uranimos. Woo. Maybe they should stop driving places. They're saved and healed in a Target parking lot by Lavinia and some nature spirits. Lavinia puts Reyna to sleep and explains that she has a plan to stop the yachts. They part ways, and Apollo and Meg bike toward camp.
I don't know why I was so excited about them being in a Target parking lot, but I really was.
I was too, and I think it's because I've spent so much time in the Target parking lot near our house that I I know what that's like. I had such a clear sense. That's my number one location.
All Target parking lots.
Oh, man. I was going to have this episode be brought to you by Target. But
Yeah.
And that he uses those like public bike things that everybody hates.
My only criticism of this is the fact that Raina gets hurt so badly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
well,
then-
at that point, I was ready to be rid of her.
Oh my God. Dude. All right. Well, the battle has begun and it's not going great. Hazel via Arian takes Meg and Apollo to Temple Hill to perform the ritual with Tyson and Ella. He calls upon Diana, but seemingly nothing happens. And Ella gets mad at him.
Mm-hmm.
Apollo joins the battle just as Commodus and Caligula roll in. Frank calls for Splia?
I don't know. I copied and pasted it.
Okay. Frank calls for Splia Opima. I don't think this is right. Single combat to the death. And the emperors accept the challenge. Apollo joins Frank, and the forces of both sides fall back. I love the fact that Frank is like, Apollo, I have a plan. Don't mess with it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned Frank much. Like, Frank is friggin' awesome in this
Frank-
book.
So much love.
Awesome
Yeah.
while retaining his like sweet, boyish,
Yeah.
adorable, endearing self.
Mhm.
Oh, and we didn't even mention the fact that he gained weight again, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see you were like, this screams of backlash that so like Rick like
Maybe, or
goes
maybe
back
he
on.
just always planned this. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe.
You know,
But I just picture like a football like defensive lineman.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think there's an argument to be made that he's probably up there with like Grover and Nico as having one of the best arcs.
So good.
Like one of the clearest, like, this is where I started and this is where I ended.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's just such a great character, and I'm gonna talk more about what happens with him. But
Yeah.
like, that's the thing. He's not harmed by other characters being in this
Yeah.
book, and
No.
thank goodness, because I don't think there's any give.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing that we could have lost here
Yeah.
with it without losing something, without making it less successful.
And on top of this being a great Frank moment, character-wise, it's a great Apollo moment. This is the best action has been, I would say, in quite a while.
I would say it's the best action.
I think there's argument for that, sure.
I still
Yeah.
think that
Lightning
the
thief.
arena battle, no, with Commodus.
What were
is
you
the-
going to say?
She said lightning thief. I was limiting it to exclusively Trials of Apollo.
Yeah.
Because
So
you know Lightning Thief.
Oh
But
my
no, just kidding.
God.
I think this is the best.
They're harassing me, people. Save me. Anyway, yes, so the arena battle with Commodus is like on par with it.
Yeah, but to me,
probably.
I understand that, but to me, that's like such a set piece. It's like such a, like, so many things are happening at once, and I do think he does a really good job there. Whereas this is like, does feel like it. I mean, honestly,
A
it
fight.
feels like a return to Lightning Thief.
It does.
With
That's,
Ares-
no.
with
That's
Ares
what I was
versus
thinking.
Percy, yeah.
It is this intimate
Yeah.
like thing where it feels like a really well shot movie where sometimes things are going at like real speed and then
Yeah.
they slow down
Mhm.
and it's like this is incredibly written.
Yeah.
I truly think this is the only thing that's better than that first fight where you really feel every single movement is
Mhm.
high stakes.
Yeah.
Are these our only examples of like basically hand-to-hand combat?
Or like one-on-one sword
yeah.
fighting. I'm sure there's more than that.
But the fact that these are the most memorable ones.
Well, there's like Percy versus the Sun Titan guy. That one's great too. When he does
Yeah.
mix the hurricane and everything.
yeah. I'm just saying, I think Rick has always been great at action. It's just
Yeah.
this is a really great, like, choreographed. Again, we're
Yeah.
following along with it. It's exciting. It's like
Yeah.
edge of your seat entertainment.
But this one, unlike Lightning Thief, and this
Mm.
is why Lightning Thief should be further down the list. This one has also the emotional and like character driven
Yeah.
factors.
Yeah.
So everything is high stakes.
Yeah, I think Commodus kind of ate Caligula's lunch here. I thought the return of Commodus and everything that he did was really like much more interesting than Caligula.
Yeah, I do feel like Caligula slightly dropped. Like,
Yeah.
this is the guy who was like brutally killing Jason
Yeah.
and keeping people at bay. Why wasn't he like
Yeah.
equally a threat? But I still really
Yeah.
appreciated how it went down, and it was still threatening.
Yeah. This reminds me, I have a quibble. I'll admit it's not that important, but it's very important to me. Frank's cloak
Yeah.
did not stop things because it was very specifically a plot point that Raina was given a special
Yeah.
cloak.
Yeah.
I was confused as well.
did he forget? I have no, like,
Rick,
what?
not Frank.
Yeah, not, like, that was one of the weirdest, like, that is the climactic moment of the 5th book of your series.
Yeah, that's the most successful part of Blood of Olympus. So.
Like, what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was weird. I don't know. Unnecessary weird.
Maybe they switched cloaks.
You know, would have been nice if we knew that.
No, we didn't, but she didn't anyway. She definitely had it.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
She has on the cover, actually, while they're at the radio tower.
That was a different cloak. All right. Well, after some intense fighting, Frank tells Apollo to run as he ignites his stick, coating himself and Caligula in flames. The tunnel explodes as Apollo escapes. A horribly burned Commodus crawls out of the inferno, causing Apollo to tackle him while screaming, turning him to ash. A Germani orders the yachts to strike, but the projectiles crash back on the fleet, destroying every ship. Later, we find out this is thanks to Lavinia and the Nature Brigade. In a state of shock and fear, the Emperor's forces flee.
I want to know, did anybody think Frank might actually be dead?
Yes.
No.
I only didn't because I hadn't been spoiled on Frank dying. And I was like, I feel like if Frank died, I would know already.
The only thing that stopped me was you saying this book is almost as sad as The Burning Maze. And I figured if Frank died, you wouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
But even with that, I was really sold.
I thought it was more of a thing of so how is he not dead?
I was in the middle point where I was like, it could go either way.
I just didn't think that he would follow Jason's death with Frank die. I was just convinced that we weren't going to get two books in a row where members of the 7 died.
Yeah, I get it. But they also set it up with Lupa and everything being like, this isn't the end.
Right. But that's because there's a battle and we do have red shirts.
Yeah. I guess I'm just saying that as much as possible, he did a good way of making it not obvious.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think he handled it well.
I agree. It was really good. It was traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also just want to say that Apollo killing Commodus in this way, this is the thing that's second only to Nico being a badass.
Yeah.
This is just
turning them to
primal,
ash.
just wah.
Yes. Nico when he evaporates that sociopath. Yeah.
Terrible person. Yeah.
That reminded me too. So when we were talking about Burning Maze, when we were talking about Burning Maze, and I had already read this, we were talking about what exactly are the emperors? How godly are they? Because we were talking about he just brought someone back from the dead. And I already knew that they basically can just be killed.
Yeah.
So I was like, their emperors are basically gone, and I still don't understand them, but whatever.
I guess that's minor gods for you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a thing of okay, a life force that's a really magical object could do it. Or a major god could be you know what? No.
Yeah.
But still, I know, because then why don't they just deal with them?
I just think that the emperors are the Hunters of Artemis. Personally.
Yeah. It must be something closer to that.
That's fine with me.
And maybe. I guess the answer why the gods don't do anything is Zeus is Apollo has it. Don't worry about it.
Apollo's supposed to do it.
Yeah.
This is his punishment. And we don't care about any of our children who are dying for this.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you to see Zeus in the next book?
Dude better be turned into a mortal. I just don't. The more I read this, I'm
more afraid than excited.
So a 1.
Well, no, I'm very much anticipating it.
Yeah.
But with fear.
Yeah. I don't know how this is going to go, but that's why I'm is it going to be every Olympian has to take a turn being human?
No, there's no way in hell. There's
Maybe
no
Apollo
way that
will
Zeus
sing
gets his
really
comeuppance.
well.
Huh. There's maybe
Zeus can't get his comeuppance. That's not historically accurate.
At absolute most, he apologizes. He's not gonna, but at absolute most, he apologizes. That's the thing. And in the fact that it's going to be in the same book where Meg destroys her abuser, it's going to probably be a
underwhelming.
What if Apollo gives a scream and destroys Zeus, and now he's king of the gods?
Well, I don't want Apollo to be king of the gods.
The same way I don't want Lavinia to be Centurion.
Yeah. So this is a good time to talk about this because he called on Diana instead of Zeus. And I thought that was one of the most interesting character moments in the book, too.
Yeah.
Because he talks about, like, Zeus is probably the one, like Jupiter, I should say, is the one that I should do. He'd expect it from me, blah, blah, blah. Like, maybe he'll be mad that I didn't pick him, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? This is like my small rebellion.
Well, and also he says, like, if nothing else, I want to see my sister before I die.
Yeah. Yeah, that was meaningful.
Yeah. But I think even without Diana, he wouldn't have picked Jupiter.
No, it didn't sound like it.
No.
Well,
He'd rather die than pick Jupiter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to pick Apollo. No, I'm serious. The entire book, I was like, what would happen if? Because there was supposed to be this thing of like, then you'll get your powers back in Rome. And I was like, oh, he could choose himself and get his godly power back. That's what I thought would happen.
I thought there was
interesting.
I thought there was a chance he would call on Demeter or Ceres because of Meg.
Yep.
Honestly,
she should show up next book, right? Demeter?
I hope so, yeah.
I hope Demeter and I hope it's a lot of parental reunions with a lot of open discussions.
Yeah, we don't need to fight. Just like have everybody go to therapy next book with their parents and
led by Chiron. Also, I just want to talk because we don't really talk about it, but like Hazel finding out about Frank being dead was really sad.
That's true,
and that like really got. I was like, even if he's alive, like she feels his loss and just has to like keep going.
These good Romans, they're really like they're feeling a lot of pain.
Yeah, they've been decimated. Like camp is empty because all the good old Greeks graduated and went on to college and stuff.
Julia's parents.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention
that was one of my notes.
Yeah,
my notes was, did you have to? Why would you do that? Why?
And
that was my note.
They killed Punk's face.
Dakota.
Yeah. I did not expect that either.
Yeah, I know.
Not as heart-wrenching as Julia, but I just didn't expect it.
No, but still. Well, Diana finally shows up and helps them defeat Tarquin and his zombie horde off screen. She then heals Apollo and disappears.
And it's great, according to you.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes, it is, Daniel.
It's the best part of the book, guys.
No one said that, but you're poopy.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
I accept that.
So Frank is revealed to be still alive because he took his fate into his own hands by purposely destroying the wood.
No fate, but what we make.
So
I don't.
We're taking this at face value that because he chose to destroy it, he didn't get killed by it.
I think it was Juno.
No, I think that this is like how you get out of the curse. What they said, because they talked about the original person who had it, and they just like
didn't know it existed.
I totally get that. I'm sure it's right, but like I read the other explanation was like, I don't know, Juno just felt like it. Like that rings very true to me.
It's possible.
Yeah. I just think that other story, like the myth of it, doesn't line up because that mythological one who was tied to the Tinder was also like had no idea his lifeline was tied to it, so he like couldn't take it into his own hands.
But I think what they're saying is because he couldn't take it into his own hands, that's why he was dying.
Okay,
but I think
that sucks.
I'll say I think that this is mostly a thematic and convenient choice.
I agree,
because I mean it's very much not Greek or Roman to be like, you can make your own fate.
And in a book of prophecy.
And also it very much would be Roman to be like, yeah, the right thing to do is to take your fate into your own hands and die.
Yeah.
I feel honestly, and I hate to say this because of how much I love Frank, but in a lot of ways it would have made more sense to leave Jason alive and have Frank sacrifice himself here, because then you don't need to make weird mythological things. You could have the Jason and Piper breakup be like
that book,
you know. I don't know.
And then Jason can actually be alive to then do his job.
Yeah,
and
I kind of agree with you, because it's not like it would be a good end for Frank.
I mean, it would be really sad, but make a lot of sense.
What if he became a Larry and just like hung around?
The Larrys are very confusing to me, and I don't really like the fact that they exist.
The underworld in general is confusing. The amount of different kinds of spirits and things, and where they can be, and there's skeleton warriors, and then there's the Euronymous, and then there's like it's a lot of stuff. I'm not
Hades, you need to do a better job.
All right, moving on.
Many died in the battle, including Don the Fawn and Dakota. I liked the
Don the Fawn scene.
That was a good scene when he was dying.
But you need like the parallel to it.
Yeah,
like,
but I guess I'm just like I sort of this series formula is like, and then a beloved creature person dies.
I guess that's true.
That's fair.
I didn't even think about that, but that is fair. But I did like it. I thought it was a good scene.
You know, thinking back about how and Rome sucks in Son of Neptune was like, and even the fawns suck here because they're all lazy freeloaders. And it's like, well, Rome is more likable here because now they're not. They're doing something and they're defending nature and sacrificing themselves. So it's like he backtracked on them being bad at everything.
Yeah. Well, I think it's meant to be like, they're only as good as you give them credit for. Nobody expected them to do anything
until they broke their.
They made their own.
They made their own fate. Exactly.
Exactly. Well, and I think that is clearly the setup for the next book of what is Apollo going to do.
Yeah. So Raina explains that she has always been a leader, and those around her have tried to pair her up with someone, or she has tried to woo others. She says that what Venus told her upset her until Apollo's proposal for a relationship made her realize how much of a fool she had been. I like this conversation.
It was fine, except that I'm with you, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
She responded so cruelly to him that there should have been some sort of a I really want you to understand moment here.
Little bit of
I don't have a problem with her and Meg beating Apollo up for the stuff he did.
Yeah.
I have a problem with her treating him so meanly when he's actually at this point kind of a pretty decent person.
Yeah. I agree. And the thing is that I agree that this whole back and forth is good, but it is hurt by that then she goes to the hunters.
Yes.
And I already knew she was going to the hunters when I read this.
Yeah.
So because I don't think that this connects at all. You know, I wrote it down, but I'll try to remember. She talks about, I have been traveling my whole life, going from one group to another. I want to be free and find myself and blah, blah. So the way you're going to do that is to confine yourself to very strict rules for the rest of eternity.
Yeah. It's weird.
It doesn't, you don't go find yourself by making a life-ending choice.
No, I don't know about that. I actually think there are two sort of big drastic choices you can make. One is and that's why I'm going to go explore the world.
Yeah.
And the other is, and that's why I'm going to join a monastery, or I'm going to there are moments where yes, you are living a strictly regimented life, which allows you to focus on your own internal what's happening, routine and regimen.
Yeah, but what if what you find out is that you don't care what Venus says, you're going to go find some
then you leave the Hunters of Artemis, apparently.
But you don't join the Hunters of Artemis with the idea that you're going to
I think that's the thing. That's the thing. It shouldn't be a sabbatical.
Yeah, because the other thing is, I buy that he might stop being Praetor. I do not buy that he leaves Rome forever.
Yeah.
Right now, especially while there's still danger.
The way they ended Blood of Olympus is she's the Roman. She is Rome.
Yeah.
And
and now it's she's overburdened by she's this, I have been Roman for too long.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not enough time between
the
two.
It just feels like another step in the list of things she says. She's I was this, I was a pirate, then I came here, and now I'm a hunter of art. It's just feels like another thing along the path.
Yeah. And I definitely don't that to me hurts it the most is the fact that she joins the hunters.
There's also something really weird to me about I never like the message of for sure you don't need a romantic relationship to make you a whole person.
Yeah.
But I do think you need connection with other people and loving other people, and it seems like the lesson here shouldn't be, and that's why I'm leaving behind everyone I care about.
Yeah.
It should
you could say he's going to a new family that he's forming with the hunters.
But I don't know.
Well, the other thing I have an issue with her joining the hunters is you can say, oh, I realized this was silly. I was being foolish. I was putting too much into this. I don't need to find someone in order to fix myself. I can do it myself. But that doesn't mean that he doesn't want a relationship. She always wanted a relationship.
Well,
so
I don't know about
saying that she was told to want a relationship.
Yeah.
I don't buy that.
Okay.
I think he's much more like Piper. I feel like this is a very repeat of Piper, where it's I was having things forced on me, but that doesn't mean that he didn't want it.
I actually think this, I don't know, this rings really true to my experience as a girl. And maybe it's a gendered thing. Maybe it's just a different people have different things thing. But for me, yeah, like there were a lot of people telling me that if I wasn't in a relationship, there was something really fundamentally missing from my life.
Yeah.
And I think that is something single people get told a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't, and so I think people do think, okay, that's why I need to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
And people go into bad relationships because they just don't, you know.
To be clear, what I'm saying is I'm perfectly happy with her saying, I'm not going to worry about this anymore. That's different than saying, I'm definitively saying I'm never going to be in one. That's
right,
my
no,
problem.
I agree. Because I think she's treating the Hunters of Artemis as a temporary sabbatical thing. And I feel like Artemis should say, like, that's not how we roll.
Yeah. He wanted to be with Jason before the Venus thing happened.
Yeah, but I really think for teens, I don't know.
I'm just saying, if you say I want to find myself and I'm not going to worry about this, the answer shouldn't be, so I'm going to make a drastic decision.
And I'm going to close myself off to this opportunity for hundreds of years, if not eternity.
Yeah, like if you don't know who you are, why are you making a lifelong choice?
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Just doesn't make sense how this conversation leads to her joining the Hunters.
Right. I just,
aside from a friendship with Thalia.
Yeah, she could go on a trip with them.
I feel like it's just, for me, it diminishes the Hunters of Artemis because nothing she says makes it sound as though she thinks of it as a permanent decision.
Yeah,
she says it could be weeks, it could be hundreds of years. Like she says that. So for me, I never thought of it as her making a permanent decision. But rather,
but you're making an oath. You're taking an oath.
Exactly. It's weird to pledge an oath.
It's
Artemis
not Roman to just do that sort of thing.
Well, and I wanted to point out, she's Roman. Thalia isn't. Yeah. When did the Hunters of Artemis and the Hunters of Diana become one thing? Because that wasn't true.
Maybe because they got so decimated by the Orion battle. But it would have been nice to have that be a sentence. Yeah.
Because she's not taking she should be taking the oath of Diana, not the oath of Artemis.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. But this feels like a weird plot hole kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I know there's a lot of people who like that she did this, and so maybe there's good stuff in the next book. I don't know, but
I just feel like if we're talking about like a romanticism or like a sexuality, arguably, then like this doesn't do it.
Yeah.
If that's what they're going for, I didn't pick it up at all.
No. I thought about that.
I have no idea if.
I thought about that, and then precisely because of what had been going on with Jason, I thought, okay, maybe not. But then even more so, I was like, but it so much sounded like she was going to be with Thalia. And then her speech, though, about like, I'm sick of people shipping me with other people, for me was a sort of like, well, maybe she is Ace.
Well, if she was, I'd be told that would be a great way to end this.
Yeah, but as usual, when in Rome, you say like, maybe. Yeah. That would explain it.
Yeah. No, I mean, if that was the answer, I would have totally, but like, I don't know. I feel like he very clearly wrote Raina in previous books as being attracted to both Jason and Percy.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I would never have read Son of Neptune and not thought she was sexually attracted to Percy.
Yeah.
All right. So during the Senate meeting, Raina announces her resignation as praetor and joins the Hunters of Artemis. Hazel is then selected to take her place, and Lavinia is made a centurion of the 5th cohort.
We're such a fan of all of these things.
I actually have no problem with Hazel becoming.
No, that's a good choice. And I liked them just like chanting Hazel, like with all like any objections. There's like Hazel. That was great.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. So Apollo is granted one of his own godly bows, and Meg is given a pouch of ancient seeds. This is cute. Sure. Yeah. Why not?
He needs a new ukulele, though.
Yeah, that's part of what he'll discover.
And that's what the whole book is going to be about.
In the morning, Apollo and Meg receive one final prophecy before heading back to New York to take on Nero. And it's a Dante-esque or a prophecy in the style of Dante, which, you know, not a great sign that the author of Dante's Inferno is made a new kind of poetry, and it's Apollo's least favorite. So it's also a hunt for more of the prophecy. Yeah. I think that's a good change of pace.
Sure. All right. If you have any feedback and want to send us a review, you can do so at lovethepodcast.com/Riordan or Apple Podcasts, all the fun places. Also, please send us feedback at ourpodcastfeedback@gmail.com. Comment on the YouTube video of the podcast and tweet at us at Ranking Riordan. We did some feedback earlier, so we're getting right into the rankings. Get ready for my beautiful vocals. Let's be frank, it's time to rank. This one's good, but that one stank. Ranking Rick Riordan. So we're starting with Best Hero. The current slate is this. Crest, that was his name.
Oh.
Crest, Lit, Emmy, Josephine, Calypso, Grover, Meg, Jason, Piper, Apollo. And our nominees are Lavinia, Frank, Hazel, and Rena.
I think Frank should be between right below Piper, and Meg should be right below Frank.
I'm on board with that. You do Meg, then Frank, then Piper.
Yeah.
What do we think about, let's start with Hazel. I would say she would go above Emmy.
Why? What did she do that was...
Fine, above Lit.
No. I think she should go above Josephine.
Above Josephine?
I mean, I think she had more character. I think Josephine had more character stuff
I do
going
too.
on than Hazel did.
Okay, well, at least in the final combined version, we'll be including like everything
That's
from
true.
Hazel's.
Yeah, in the final
Fair
combined
enough.
version, Josephine and Emmy aren't even going to get on the list at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And we'll figure out. So that feels really low for Hazel. But...
Okay, fine. Let's put Hazel under Calypso.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Now, Rena. Under or over Grover?
That high?
I don't know.
What did she... I'm actually struggling the same with Hazel. Like what did the two of them actually do?
Well, Hazel had like interesting emotional moment when Frank died. She helped defeat Tarkin. She basically did defeat Tarkin, and then Diana just like did one final like thingy.
That's like how so many side characters have like helped in a fight that don't make it on the list.
Yeah, but she's like much more of like a very helpful fighter. It's not like she's Dakota.
Okay. All right. I'm fine with that. I just don't really...
And Rena very much had a character arc in this book.
Yeah, and she has really important conversations with Apollo.
Yeah.
Sure. I just don't see how that amounts to Best Hero.
Well, Best Hero is also Best Character that's a hero.
I know, but...
How about put her between Calypso and Grover?
Rena?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, here's the thing, actually. I mean, if we are, depending on how much we're putting the heroic part into this, Hazel is more of a hero than Rena.
That's where I'm struggling, actually.
Yeah, like Rena actually doesn't do that much to be heroic other than just be a good leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think Hazel is really low for me here.
Okay. I would, if we move Hazel up, can we put Rena where Hazel currently is?
Yes. Can we put Hazel below, like between Calypso and Grover?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I feel like Calypso is low now.
Yeah, but she doesn't do that many important things.
Sure.
Yeah, but I feel like she's more than Hazel.
She's more of a hero, both in heroic action and
Calypso
in importance.
Goes over Hazel. I was trying to be nice to Hazel, but yeah,
I'm not trying to be mean to Hazel. I just feel like we're giving them credit from previous stories, and it's not. I'm trying to limit it to this book.
That's fair. All right, now Lavinia's interesting because Lavinia does have character stuff and is heroic. She basically saves the entire camp.
Yes.
I would put Lavinia under Jason.
No.
Under Grover.
No, I would put her under Emmy.
What?
No, you can't do that.
No, that's...
She has way more character stuff going on and she saves everybody.
Yeah.
But you think she's a worse character, even though she has a lot of character.
I don't see what does her character do that's heroic other than disobey an order and do something really good.
The camp.
She
but
saves
so
the
does
entire
Hazel.
camp.
Like
no,
Hazel. If Hazel hadn't been there, Tarquin would have.
No, Diana would have shown up 5 seconds
Diana would have.
later.
Diana would have. Diana would have.
I hate that scene with Diana. It's the worst scene in the book.
Oh, we're gonna rank Best God next, but no, Lavinia comes up with a plan that like completely negates all of the weapons that were going to shoot Greek fire directly at the camp.
I think she should be between Calypso and Grover.
That's what I was gonna say. We might not love everything about Lavinia, but she is heroic.
One of the most. She and Frank are the two most heroic characters in this book.
Yes.
No, Apollo is.
Okay, but Lavinia is more heroic than Meg is, though, in this book.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, we'll put her between Calypso and Grover.
Yes.
Okay. This is a long list now.
Yeah.
All right. So the new list from worst to best is Crest, Lit, Emmy, Josephine, Raina, Hazel, Calypso, Lavinia, Grover, Jason, Meg, Frank, Piper, Apollo. No arguments for Frank over Piper.
I was tempted, but I didn't think it would win.
I'm kind of okay either way. We can.
I feel like with Piper, I feel like with Piper having just experienced a loss, being able to bounce back from that, as opposed to Frank, who's like, it's the culmination of his like.
Frank also has way less screen time.
There's also something reckless about Frank. And the book sort of calls it into question,
but doesn't really address it.
But doesn't, yeah. And Piper, there's also for me always something with Piper in the same way that there is with Annabeth, where the fact that they're not just doing like combat, and still managing to do, you know, like, because they're doing combat, but they're not doing combat.
That's fair.
I think I know what you're saying.
Anyway, best god, worst to best. Rhea, Helios, who's not a god. Britomardus, and Apollo. Nominations, Diana, Harpocrates, Terminus, and Lupa. I did like Terminus in this book.
Yeah.
Okay, where's Harpocrates?
I would say
below Apollo.
Oh.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
I liked him a lot.
The most emotional, like, actual story.
Yes, I'll give you that. Let's do that.
And the fact that, I
was tempted to put him below Britomardus, but the emotion of his story is...
Let's put Lupa under Helios.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or is she under Rhea?
No, she's under Helios.
She's under Helios.
We only have Rhea on here because of her quip about Western civilization.
And there were no other gods in that book.
Terminus adopts a child.
Between Lupa and Helios?
I mean,
maybe.
but he's like sweet, but like
between Rhea and Lupa.
Yeah, I think between Rhea and Lupa.
I think he's more interesting than Lupa personally, but I'm fine with either option. All right, you did that one. All right. So Diana.
I think between Britomardus and Hippocrates.
Me too.
I think between Lupa and Helios, but okay.
Well,
I mean, I lost, so.
You lost. You lose. You don't get it. you don't understand.
You get nothing.
She barely does anything. Helios has like a really interesting, like emotional, like,
let's move Helios
turmoil. Up. Okay, I'm
all
good
right.
with
If
that.
we move Helios up, can Diana be in that spot? Well, it depends where we're moving.
Why don't we just move Helios above Diana and call it a day?
Yeah, that's
what I thought. Okay.
Part of where I give Helios credit, though, and maybe this is my bad, is also like Apollo's scene of where he enters his castle.
But like that's part of his mystique.
Sure. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Rhea, Terminus, Lupa, Britomardus, Diana, Helios, Harpocrates, and Apollo. All right. Best baddie. This will be interesting. Perphonius, Nero, Medea, Caligula, Commodus. Now Tarquin, and then if we want to move anything else around.
I say Tarquin second to last, so below Nero.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll give you that.
Because he was like nefarious and evil in the past, but like he also just like didn't do enough.
I don't feel like they delivered on like the promise of the first third of the book.
Yeah.
He's also just not, he doesn't have that extra like emotional oomph.
Yeah.
He's a scary zombie guy.
Yeah.
I think Tarquin was really cool. It's like I understand why Tarquin and Lavinia exist, and I like them. But they shouldn't. Like if Lavinia didn't exist and we gave Hazel and Raina more to do, that would make the book better. If Tarquin didn't exist and we gave Caligula more to do, that would make the book
Honestly,
better.
I this is a problem I have with the whole series, and I think it's why I'm coming down really hard on Lavinia because it's recency bias, and I'm sorry, Lavinia. But he invented all these new characters and wanted to finish up with the old ones. Yeah. They already had so many characters by Heroes of Olympus.
Yeah.
Like...
I agree. I think Lavinia is a more complicated one than Tarquin. I think he just kind of dropped the ball on Tarquin. Yeah. Like, I think he could have pulled Tarquin off better than he did. But did we need a
third bad guy?
I think so.
I don't think we needed it.
I think to give them time with the ships coming, to have some immediate threat nearby, I see that.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
It's the constant multiple, like, two things that need to happen thing.
Yeah.
All right. So that's where Tarquin is. Also, I was just thinking maybe we could do this after Tower of Nero, but I feel like we should rank the side casts of each of these.
Yeah. I think that's
which
a good
book
idea.
has the best side cast?
I think I know.
All right.
Wait, I want to ask something, and maybe this can wait.
Mhm.
I want to put Zeus on the best baddie list.
Where would you put him?
Very high.
Yeah.
Because his emotional trauma.
Yeah. I would
Put him under Commodus?
No, I think he's below Caligula.
I would put him between Medea and Caligula.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I think that's controversial, but okay.
I think he's a villain here.
Yeah, you're right. He's straight up. His presence in this book is to be an abusive father.
It's malicious.
Yeah.
He's a malicious being, and we call those baddies on this podcast.
Like he's more actively malicious than Python is at the moment.
Yeah.
All right, so the new list is Trophonius, Tarquin, Nero, Medea, Zeus, Caligula, and Commodus.
I agree, Clara. Dude's not making it onto the best gods list, I'll tell you that.
No, but now he will be on a list on our big list. He'll be on the baddie list.
Best real world locale. We have Indianapolis and Southern California. Where do we put the Bay Area?
I think number 1.
I think so too.
Okay, I would have said number 2, but I'm fine with that.
I would have done 1 or 2, so
I think number 1 because it actually has more specific locations that they're calling out than just like downtown and the desert.
I'm going to read just the top 10. Does anybody think it should be not in the top 10?
It should definitely be in the top 10.
It should be in the top 10.
So I'm going to read the top 10. The Lost Hero, The Son of Neptune, The Battle of the Labyrinth, The Serpent's Shadow, The Burning Maze, The Throne of Fire, The Last Olympian, The Mark of Athena, The Dark Prophecy, and The House of Hades. I personally would put it directly after The Burning Maze.
After in which direction?
Worse than.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Really? I thought you were going to argue for higher.
I mean, it's a really difficult play. That's the thing where I keep saying it's greater than the sum of its parts, but there's also like nothing that I absolutely like will, love so much that it like deserves to be.
I just think Burning Maze. I can't put it above Burning Maze.
No.
And I'm almost wondering if we should make Burning Maze go higher. No, but I love Throne of Fire.
I know.
Yeah,
that's
Throne
the thing.
of Fire
It's Throne
really
of Fire that
What if we swap Last Olympian and Throne of Fire? Worst to best, Last Olympian, Burning Maze, Throne of Fire.
I don't think the Last Olympian deserves to be moved down below the Burning Maze.
I do. We've finally done it. We finally broke in.
Finally broke the last Olympian.
So putting the Throne of Fire in the number 4 spot.
Number 4, yes.
Interesting.
Yep. You're not a fan?
I'm not.
You had a lot of issues with Throne of Fire, but you were wrong, so.
I mean, I am thinking back on it, and I'm like, it was so there were a lot of issues with
such a good book.
It is. But
so
also,
is Last Olympian, and so is Burning Maze, and so is a lot of these.
Maybe Last Olympian should be above Throne of Fire. Yeah, okay, let's go back to what it was.
Yeah, Tyrant's Tomb, Burning Maze, Throne of Fire, Last Olympian, Mark of Athena, Dark Prophecy. Okay.
Yeah, all right, so.
Starting at the bottom. The Hidden Oracle, The Son of Neptune. Nope, that's not it.
I was about to be like, what the hell?
The Hidden Oracle, The Sea of Monsters, The Blood of Olympus, The Red Pyramid, The Lightning Thief, The Titan's Curse, The Lost Hero, The Son of Neptune, The Battle of the Labyrinth, The Serpent's Shadow, The Tyrant's Tomb, The Burning Maze, The Throne of Fire, The Last Olympian, The Mark of Athena, The Dark Prophecy, and The House of Hades.
Man, I could really see this list shaking up a lot after we finish Tower of Nero.
I think that every book other than Hidden Oracle and Sea of Monsters is quite good and could go in the top 10, just not in the top 5 necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, I really, really personally like Red Pyramid. You guys just didn't like it as much. And, I like Titan's Curse more than Lightning Thief. And I actually maybe put Titan's Curse over Battle of the Labyrinth. So, like...
Well, Lightning Thief is below Titan's Curse.
Yeah, as it should be. No.
I'm already sitting here being like, this could move there and that could move there. And actually, what about our top 3
books? You guys realize how difficult the top 10 best heroes is going to be?
Yeah, I'm trying not to think about it.
Because we're going to have to add Jason, Meg, Apollo at minimum, right? Yeah. And that is, at minimum, going to get rid of Carter and Hazel.
God.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? I don't know. It's going to be tough. And that's before we get to Magnus Case. So
I'll just say this. Apollo's going very, very, very high on my personal list.
Apollo's
number one. Okay, great, cool.
We were all sort of like, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm like not making eye contact. Like, all right, controversial tease. Well, but yeah, no, that No Man's Land part of the list beyond after the top 5 is going to be tricky.
Yeah. I just feel I'm going to feel sad about the people who are going to get kicked out.
No, it sucks.
Harder.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm not like, because part of the problem is like Piper and Frank both got better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jason got better. So it's like, it's getting harder.
Well, maybe if the Canes had been brought in to deal with this god, they could have also been even better.
What if they were like looking for him or something and they arrive right after he gives up his final breath? It's like, what you got there, Apollo? The final breath of the god you were looking for.
What do you guys feel like Raina goes up or down your list after this book?
I don't think she's the one who's moving. I think other people are moving around her.
Huh.
That's fair.
I think she moved a little down for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like she could be in one of these other books because it's clearly there's something going on with the Hunters of Artemis somewhere else with this fox.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
So I feel like she's going to be there. I think Thalia is going to be like, I don't know.
I have no idea who's going to show up in this last book.
Yeah, I have some ideas.
From spoilers?
Yeah.
Yeah. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Please send your thoughts and your love and have a happy holiday season wherever you may be. May the gods be ever in your favor.